Rob Sanders.
Clemson is going to kick the shit out of the South Carolina Gamecocks probably for the next 10 years every time they run across each other.
Kale Carolina Jackpot Hall.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are weaker than a plate full of piss.
The Rob and Kale podcasts.
Let's go.
I'm not ashamed no more.
As we roll along, we're almost to talking season there. As I bring in the best Gamecock YouTuber on the planet, Mr. Carolina Jackpot. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? It's hump day. Aside from the fact that it is extremely hot up here in the upstate of South Kakalaki, I am happier than a puppy with two Peters. Yeah, talking season. Talking season. That's what we're talking about tonight. Almost upon us.
How do you determine a puppy's happiness that has two Peters?
Well, I'm normally smiling, and normally to get him to stop, you have to turn the garden hose on him. So
okay. All right. Well, let's see what we've got this evening. We've got we got to talk about the stuff with Georgia. And then Jackpot sent me some predictions, so we'll get into that momentarily. But we'll thank Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia, Highway 1 diagonal from the Walmart. Go by and check them out. They got all kinds of great stuff there for your retro video games. Great food at Callaway's in West Columbia. Also, Dennis Wilson from DNC Trucking and Transport sponsors the show. It gets hard until we get into the actual season, but we do have a special message here with our fireside chat with Uncle Jackpot. Jackpot, read away.
It sucks to be a Gamecock as we head to talking season. It is important to remember that our football program has one conference title and generally has no hope of being relevant. It sucks to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
That message courtesy of Dennis Wilson, DNC Trucking and Transport. We appreciate Dennis for sponsoring the program. All right, so you want to start with the Georgia thing and then go from there? I'll go ahead and put the link in the description here.
Let me address something over in the chat. Jug Move 219 with the thoughtful emoji says Jackpot doesn't like big butts. I guess that's in response to the video I did shooting on just a variety of topics Saturday evening. I was a little bit inebriated, but still, that one came out. I never said I didn't like big rear ends. The one I saw with the thong bathing suit on was hideous. It was picture fishy white, about as wide as the state of Minnesota, dimples all over it that were like dimples that went inward. So what is that, a crater, I guess? So, yeah, not attractive at all. So just the fact, I mean, if it had been a regular sized ass, it wouldn't have been attractive at all like that. So, hey.
All right, I'm not gonna sit here and start the program talking about giant asses that you saw at the beach. Let's move on. Let's read R's comment. He says, Rob and Kale, my son Halen loves the show, and we just celebrated his 23rd birthday. It would make his day if you guys wished him a happy birthday. Well, happy birthday, Halen.
Happy birthday, Halen.
There you go.
That almost rhymes with Kale. Kalen. Oh,
it doesn't, you idiot.
I'm getting to something, damn it.
All right.
When I was in my early 20s, we used to go hunting, and there was an older guy that I can't even remember his name. I think they just called him Wild Bill. But he used to go hunting too down there in Newberry County, and he didn't have a vehicle. And he was friends with somebody I knew, and we'd go pick him up. And he lived over in the West Greenville, kind of the rough area. And this old guy, he smoked a lot of herbals and drank a lot of beer, and couldn't say my name right, and called me Kalen. How you been?
Sound like Tara Reid.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jackpot, I posted this on the on our Facebook page at some point today, and I'm just going to read to you from the post, and this is from the AJC, and it says basically, according to the AJC News, Georgia football player Jamal Jarrett was still pursued and signed despite sexual assault allegations that took place while on a visit. Jarrett picked up, physically lifted in the air a female while on a visit and pressured her into oral sex. Later that night, after violating curfew and drinking alcohol, he returned to her room. After she told him she wouldn't be seeing him again, he smelled of alcohol. They had consensual oral sex until she told him to stop. He did not. Quote, he pulled her head so hard that a plug of her hair came out of her scalp where her wig had been glued, she said in the police interview. Jarrett forced her to her knees, she said, and insisted she resume a sex act. The AJC says, then after going to bed at 6 a.m., she woke up the next morning and called her mom and the police. So then it says their news article discusses how the Bulldog football team rallies to support athletes accused of abusing women. You know, when you hear stuff like that, Jackpot, it's I don't even know where to go with that, man. I mean, it's not something that you want to hear about any program. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, and to that point, I mean, both of our programs have had players participate in their fair share of fuckery, Gamecocks and Clemson both. But I don't know with these folks at Georgia, it just seems like it's always something. And that's kind of a big deal.
Do you think Kirby Smart supports that kind of culture?
I don't necessarily know that he supports it, but maybe I don't know. Maybe doesn't do it. Take all the necessary steps to stomp it out. I mean, I don't know. They had those problems. Those kind of problems when Mark Richt was there too.
I think that the thing that gets me is that I tweeted something about it today, and it's crazy in my Twitter feed. Tennessee fans, Alabama fans, there's all of them from other schools are talking about, oh, well, look at Georgia, look at this, look at that. And I'm like, this is a bigger problem than, Athens. The problem is that I think that we idolize these young men, or they're told they're the best ever for so long that they think that they can do whatever they want to do with these women. We have to do better as a society to try to fix that. That's the problem. Now, it's not dum-dums who are like, oh, there's a problem down at Georgia. Now, it's not just at Georgia. It's everywhere. You can Google it, pretty much every SEC school in the past 15 years, and you're going to have an abuse against women charge against X, Y, or Z football player. It's going to be there. Even Vanderbilt, for God's sake. So
that's true.
It's a bigger problem than, hey, this is just Athens or wherever. And it comes down to, we just got to raise better boys who can be more respectful of women, period.
Yeah. I mean, a certain coach that we know put one who had been, accused of that years earlier on his coaching staff here a while back.
Devil's advocate here says, roll tide, we're assuming he's guilty. Maybe the hair plug removal was due to consensual rough sex. Well, and see, that's the other thing too. We do live in a society where you're supposed to be innocent until you're proven guilty. That's the whole gist of it. According to the AJC, if we're taking that as the gospel there, they were in a consensual area where they were doing things that they're adults. okay. But none of us were there in that room. And it comes back down to this. The only two people that know are him and her. I mean, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's kind of the way that it is. Now, I'm also in the camp of there shouldn't be any victim shaming of her. It should go and they should try to figure out exactly what happened and then go from there. But it's just hard when you have this stuff because you can literally go to any school that you want and pretty much find something where some player is doing something they weren't supposed to do. So there's that.
Yeah. I want to respond to a comment over in the comment section. I did type out a comment. Fireval said, "Hey, Kale, what does it feel like to not be able to see your penis in over a decade?" I wouldn't know. Go ask your football coach.
David says, honestly, if Jarrett did this, he should not be just kicked off the team, but kicked out of Athens. Look, if that's what came of it, then yeah. And here's the thing. All sexual assault accusations should be treated the same way. Investigated fully, figure out who did what that was wrong, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, there were Tennessee folks that were pissed off because the America's gentleman, Peyton Manning, he had to pay a lawsuit off from where he, according to a doctor, because she was a trainer then, he put his testicles on her face when she was observing, checking out his foot. But he paid her off, right? So of course he's got the money that he can do that. But that stuff like that gets swept under the rug. We got to do a better job of taking these accusations, seeing where they are, and finding out who was wrong and then punishing them fully. Just the way that it is. All right.
That sounds like a great plan.
Well, and it's hard. It's hard, but that's just the way that it is. Chris says, do you think a team staffer should be involved with criminal investigations? We can ask Tagano, who was part of the investigation against Peyton Manning, if you want to do that. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And I'm not going to get into this thing where we're going to isolate one set incident and say that, oh, it's just that program. No, it's not. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So stop with the bullshit.
Yeah.
All right. You want to do these predictions that you've got here? Jackpot sent me this stuff. This is from 247 Sports. The 2023 preseason guide. Did you want to do the records for this first, or did you want to?
They broke down every team, who they're going to win, who they're going to win against, lose to, record, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, so we'll start with South Carolina here. South Carolina, they're projecting the Gamecocks to go 7-5 with wins over North Carolina, Furman, Mississippi State, Florida, Jacksonville State, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky. Losses to Clemson, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and who was the other one? Oh, and Mizzou. Got you losing one to Mizzou.
I have a problem with that. These streaks. Talking about that, I heard it talked about this morning on the radio on the 107.5 The Game, great channel out of Columbia, and talk about can the Gamecocks snap the streak of futility against Mizzou, and I mean they've lost to them 4 years in a row. And they call it a streak of futility because Mizzou blows oats. They don't call it a streak of futility against Georgia. That doesn't get mentioned. But South Carolina should be beating Mizzou. That should be you should lose like 1 out of every 5 type thing. You got better players, you got better facilities, you recruited at a higher level. got better coaches, in my opinion. Just haven't been able to put it together. I think they do put that together, and where that prediction there is off. I don't have a problem with the number of wins, but if you know South Carolina football, like I know South Carolina football, we all do, they're going to win a game that they probably shouldn't, or that you probably would not predict, and they're most likely going to lose a game that they shouldn't as well. Happens every year.
Well, maybe that's why they're giving you the Mizzou game as a loss, and then thinking that you're going to get the win over. That's hard for me to say that because I think Florida's going to be a shithole. But you know, I could see you dropping the Mississippi State game, and I'll tell you why. Where it's at in the season, and is that secondary going to be right? Maybe Mississippi State comes in and gets the best of you. Noon start, something like that. Gamecocks may be a 3-point favorite at home. I think is that the SEC opener? I believe it is, right?
No, the Georgia game is.
Okay, I'm sorry. But that's the SEC home opener, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's part of it. But I mean, I would be more
They're figuring a lot of things out at Mississippi State too. I don't think they're going to be very good. I mean, I just don't. Yeah. I mean, this guy that took over as head coach, I don't really know that was. They had, I don't know. They had time. I mean, to get. I mean, it's not like Leach passed away during spring practice. I mean, when did he pass away? It was in December, November.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. They had plenty of time, and I don't know. I think it was like maybe it was like his wish this guy would be the coach or something. Is that? I don't know. He wants to change everything. Just I don't know. Don't think they're going to be very good. But I could honestly, I could see South Carolina doing something crazy. I could see South Carolina going to Athens, ending that streak, upsetting Georgia, and then turn around and crapping the bed against same said Mississippi State team the next week. I could, and you could see that as well. I mean, we've seen it before.
Well,
got to lose to somebody, guys. You got to lose to somebody.
I can buy into that. Every year, Jackpot's correct. South Carolina gets a win, you're like, what the fuck? And then they lose the game, you're like, what the fuck? How does that happen? And it's every single year. It's a mess. Anyway, so that's what they think about South Carolina. What other team you want to look at here, Jackpot, really quick? You want to do the East teams first?
Sure.
So I'm looking here, and the Kentucky Wildcats, they've got them at 6-6 with wins over Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, Akron, losing to Vanderbilt, beating Florida, losing to Georgia, beating Mizzou, losing to Tennessee, losing to Mississippi State, losing to Alabama, losing to South Carolina, and then getting a win over Louisville.
See, I think they're going to be a little better than that. I could see Kentucky being an 8-4 team. I think, I think they've shored up their offense. So I listened to a little bit of the podcast, the Cover 3 podcast. You should all listen to that. Great podcast. They have a summer school session. They do 2 teams every day, where you got a beat writer or someone close to the program comes on there and talks about them. They were doing Kentucky the other day, and they shored up their offensive line. They got some pretty good receivers, and they got the offensive coordinator back that they had 2 years ago when they won 10 games, and are going to play good defense. I think they'll be a little bit better than that. I don't see them dropping another game to Vanderbilt, and I honestly don't see them dropping a game to Mizzou.
They do have Vanderbilt
They
going.
can beat the Gamecocks. Hell, I don't know. It's not. That's not definitely one for the win column. It's not a sure thing. So
they got Vanderbilt going 5-7. Their one conference win being against Kentucky, but with wins over Hawaii, Alabama A&M, UNLV, and Kentucky, and there was one more. Oh, and Wake Forest, winning at Wake Forest for Vanderbilt. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't buy into that at all.
No, these people put too much stock in. They don't look at the programs enough, in my opinion. They look at players and who you've lost, and they're like, oh, Wake Forest lost Sam Hartman. They're not going to be good. They're going to win 4 games this year. Dave Clawson, I think, pretty smart offensive mind. He's got some pretty smart offensive coaches up there. If you'll remember, they were winning games before Sam Hartman came around. Maybe not 9, 10 wins, whatever they won. Year before last when they went to the ACC championship game. But they've been performing at a really high level for Wake Forest for a lot of years now. So, I definitely think they can handle Vanderbilt at home, especially when they went on the road last year. And they beat them by like 40 points.
Yeah.
Right, 40 points.
Yeah. Let's see here. Missouri, they've got them at 6-6 with wins over South Dakota, Middle Tennessee, Memphis, South Carolina. They've got them beating Tennessee as well. Losses to.
What? Are you serious?
Yes, sir. A loss to Kentucky. They're going to lose to LSU, Florida, Arkansas, and Georgia. But they think they're going to beat Tennessee. Your thoughts on that? Your thoughts on that? You
What
think
happened there?
I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But they've got. All right. Well, anyway, they've got them beating Tennessee but losing to Florida. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean that's like, are they predicting that because last year, with the Gamecocks, pulled a shocker against Tennessee, and now I think somebody else is going to do it this year. Is that the thinking?
Well, I mean,
I guess
no one really. I mean, I think there's a section of folks that are going to think that maybe what happened at Tennessee could happen with South Carolina and Tennessee. Maybe that could happen with somebody else. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Did you say they have them beating Florida or losing to Florida?
Losing to Florida and beating Tennessee.
Not at home. They're not losing to Florida at home. I don't believe that. That's craziness. Anyway, that one's really dumb.
Yeah. Speaking of Tennessee, they've got them at 9-3 overall, 5-3 in conference, with losses to Georgia, Mizzou, and Alabama, and winning the rest out.
I could see the loss to Georgia. I could see the loss to someone else. Okay, so Mizzou seems like as likely of a candidate as anybody. The more and more I think about Alabama, the more and more I'm not sold on that Tennessee loses to them. Really not. Just looking at what they did last year. I mean, even with Bryce Young, they just barely beat a horrible Texas A&M team. Should have lost. They should have lost to Texas. It should have been a 4-loss team instead of a 2-loss team or whatever they were. And then going in this year, I mean, they have no quarterback. Defense, I guess, will be pretty good. Running back, you got a true freshman back there. I don't know about them. Really don't.
Well, we'll see how that schedule shakes out. I don't know. I think when it comes down to it, and eventually, can Tennessee have enough defensive players that they can get some stops. Because, if you have what South Carolina had last season and you can throw a couple of stops at that offense and then your guys go out there and you throw the ball around, I mean, Tennessee's shown they can be beaten. So nobody, and that's the thing, nobody gave South Carolina a chance, including me. There were very few people that said, hey, South Carolina's going to, go and rough up Tennessee. Nobody thought that. Nobody thought they were going to hang 63 points on them at their house.
Yeah,
I think that was going to happen. So who knows at this point? Like, Tennessee wouldn't shock me if they went 10-2. They wouldn't shock me also if they went 7-5. Wouldn't be surprised either way. I mean, I really wouldn't.
Sid Irish throws out over there. Rest in peace to Ryan Mallett, former Arkansas quarterback, died yesterday. I guess it was yesterday. He drowned in Florida. Former Arkansas and Michigan quarterback. I don't remember him playing at Michigan. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Maybe, I don't know.
I remember him
there one year.
Maybe so. I remember him at Arkansas. I knew that.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. Kicked our ass one time.
Mm-hmm. So
everybody's kicked our ass at least once.
Yeah. Yes, I know it was not in Knoxville. I said their house. I am sorry. I forgot. Tennessee fans are the most sensitive bunch of fuckers ever. So, I'm just gonna laugh this season if you go 7-5. That would be the best season ever. I mean, it really, really would be if you went 7-5. I'd have a laugh track on this damn program that we would just play, and we'd have to have some kind of watch on Chris in Georgia. He's sitting down there with his his Milton for Heisman t-shirt, just and when that doesn't come out, he's gonna lose his shit. He'll start calling Heupel the next Jeremy Pruitt.
Yeah, he'll get no love.
That shit'll be funny as hell.
That guy would go from the penthouse to the outhouse very quickly.
Yeah. Chris says, I don't hate Tennessee, but I want the worst for them. Well, first of all, going 7-5 is not the worst.
No, it's not.
That's not bad at all. Apparently, you don't remember where you went 0-8, 5 seasons ago, and you were cheating. So you don't know anything about what's worse, sir.
It's 2017. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
when he had that garbage can on the sideline.
Yeah. So anyway,
what's crazy about that is they went 4-0 in the non-conference, including a win over Georgia Tech. I remember that was the season opener. That was a really good game in Georgia Dome. That's where I first saw the trash can. I thought they had something. And
I thought they're the champions of life, Jackpot.
Thought they were cooking, but that was pretty rough.
The Georgia schedule, according to them, let's see here. What do they have for Georgia? I mean, it was probably Georgia's going to go 12-0.
Yeah.
They've got anybody losing or Georgia losing to anybody here. I'm trying to make sure. Their
odds to go undefeated are it's plus 120 in one sports book, and it's even odds in another one. Even odds to go undefeated.
Would you if you were in Las Vegas and you could take a bet, Jackpot, would you take Georgia or the field for even money?
I would take the field, and I'm not saying that to piss off people in the comment section. I just think it's time. They're going to stub their toe somewhere. They're going to stub their toe somewhere this year.
Look, and I hate to bring back
it almost happened last year. Twice.
What you said earlier, but you said you weren't really impressed with Alabama. Looking at the rest of Georgia's schedule, I mean, truth, UT Martin, Ball State, South Carolina, UAB, They go to Auburn. They have Kentucky at home. They go to Vanderbilt. Florida's at a neutral site. Mizzou's at home. Ole Miss is at home. They do have to go to that shithole in Knoxville, and they have to play at Georgia Tech. There's nothing on that schedule that you look at and you're like,
No,
I'm gonna
I don't know.
run
You know, I think if it's not my Gamecocks, I think the lane train gets you. I think the lane train might run over you, pull upset.
You know, we've talked about Auburn too, and Auburn. You know, I wonder how Auburn is going to be in the mix with all that too, because Auburn could be that team that goes 8-4 this year and has their bounce back year under their new coach.
Yeah, I think the kid that they have playing quarterback that transferred from Michigan State, I think he's just meh. I think he's a serviceable. I think that guy he's a 1-year dude for them to get who they really want to play quarterback in there and get that in place because that whatever that guy's name was, Ashford or whatever it's like a receiver playing quarterback. I mean, he wasn't yet. So I got the kid from Michigan State, and I think he's just kind of a plug and play person. So I don't know. I think they'll be kind of mediocre this year, but I think they're building something. They could be building something special.
Yeah, but they got them going 7-5 overall. That sounds about right.
I can buy that. Who's their? How do they have theirs breaking out?
Let's see here. 7-5 wins over UMass, Cal, Samford.
They play Cal.
Yeah, they play at Cal.
What the? Okay. What?
Wins over Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and New Mexico State. So, and then losses to LSU, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and Alabama, and Texas A&M.
I don't understand the game at Cal. That's just crazy to me. I mean, you know, there are so many regional teams that, you know, we could schedule instead. I mean, hell, play Georgia Tech. I mean, play Virginia Tech. I mean, geez, freaking Cal.
How about play Oklahoma State?
There you go.
Yeah, that makes more sense. So,
what a wet fart of a game that's going to be.
Christian Carver says, "Did you know Mike Bobo, Will Muschamp, and Kirby Smart all were teammates at Georgia? They're now on the same staff." Yep. There's that. All right, Jackpot. Do you have another team you want to look at here? You want to look at Alabama since we're looking?
Why not?
Let's see here. If you want to join the show, there's the link. Alabama, they've got. Let's see here. There's Vanderbilt. You know, a lot of these preview magazines, they're in love with Alabama. It's kind of the way that it goes there.
A lot of times too, in those this one seems to have done a pretty good job. A lot of those like that, you got to look at the stuff, their wins and losses. They'll have one for one team's page like as a loss, or what like they might say that Kentucky was a loss to Vanderbilt, but then you go check the Vanderbilt page, they'll have them losing to Kentucky.
All right, so they've got Alabama going.
There's one more point real quick. That Lindy's, that rag that came out first, I think it was the Lindy's one, the second one that came out. Picked Jaheim Bell to be the ACC Newcomer of the Year. But then you turn over to the Florida State page, and they don't even have him as the top newcomer on his own damn team.
Yeah.
Stupid.
So
Dumb.
They've got Alabama winning 10 games with losses to the state of Texas, losing to Texas and at Texas A&M. Winning out the rest of the way. Over Middle Tennessee, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Tennessee, LSU.
Where is the Texas A&M? Oh, the Texas A&M game is in College Station.
Yep.
I mean, I guess I could see it. They almost did last year, right? This was with a quarterback and a running back. So, yeah. Zona Tucson 93, shout out to you in the comment section. Asked me if I would go to a game in South Carolina, played Oregon State in Corvallis. Sir, I'd save up my money and I'd find a way. So, yeah.
Would you wear the Oregon State hat or the Gamecock hat?
What do you think?
I think you up there in Corvallis, you got to go with and do with the Romans. I think you wear the Beaver hat.
I would never not wear the damn Gamecock hat.
My ass, you wear a fucking Beavers hat at least once a week.
Yeah, but once a week when I'm driving down the road in my potato chip truck, they're not playing the Gamecocks, sir. There's a difference. Today I had a Penn State hat on.
Billy says, did Saban get a response yet from that letter he sent to the NCAA about the refs in the Tennessee game? I mean, Nick Saban can write all the letters he wants.
He sent a letter. Did he write it with pen? Was it a pen with one of those feather quills that you dip in the inkwell?
I don't think Nick Saban cares, to be honest with you. So anyway, yeah, that was interesting. Oh my goodness. There was one other one that I wanted to look at here that kind of stuck out. Which one was it? It was the Emmett. Oh, with LSU. They got LSU going 10-2 with losses to Ole Miss and Alabama. That's interesting. Yeah.
So I guess that would put them. So who's their SEC West champion out of all this?
Well, they've got. Let's see here. Oh, yep, they got it up here. Hold on. Your SEC West champion in the final season of the divisions. Your SEC West champion would be the Alabama Crimson Tide because they have one loss in conference. They lose to Texas.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they lose to Texas. It's not in their conference this year. Right.
So Alabama go, and they've got Alabama and Georgia in the SEC championship game. And South Carolina finishing third in the East behind Tennessee.
I can buy that. Yeah, I was gonna say here. Thomas says something tells me that Rattler would beat DJ again. Yeah. Funny story. One of those summer school sessions was an Oregon State beat writer, and he was talking about DJ, and they were asking how he's doing so far. And guess what? In the workout so far, they said that he's doesn't seem to have a real good grip yet on chemistry with his receiver, and he's overthrowing a lot of people.
Imagine that.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know about him, but yeah, we were talking. I was thinking about something too. I was thinking about the Gamecocks and the new offensive coordinator, the Dowell Rudy Bob Loggins. You know, and I was really pissed off when they hired him, especially when I heard his moniker was No Game Loggins, and had been fired from multiple NFL teams, the worst offensive coordinator in town. But here's the thing. And I thought about it a little bit, and I said, he may have been the worst, but people kept giving him jobs. So evidently some head coach, general GM, whatever, what have you, they saw something in him. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but they kept giving him jobs.
There's a section of people. Yeah, there's a section of people that say, maybe this guy plays the game the best, and he can, I don't know. Maybe he shakes hands and does the, does that part of it really well. if we just if it were a blind challenge and you just looked at just the numbers of where he's been, they haven't really been on fire at all. But I do agree with you on this front of if you're a Gamecock fan, you really have to trust in what Shane Beamer is trying to do. And it's I hate to use the term all in or all out, but do you really think that Shane Beamer is going to bring in someone he does not think has a chance of getting that Gamecock offense moving? I just don't buy that.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't really know what happened with the with the Satterfield thing. Well, we know what happened with the Satterfield thing. He wasn't even supposed to be there.
Right.
But he was a what do you call? I feel like he was a rushed hire.
Well, that's because of that fucking idiot Bobo. I'm gonna be your offensive coordinator, and I'm gonna blah blah blah, and then left in the dark of night because he's a scoundrel piece of shit. That's exactly what he is. He left in the dark of night after telling Shane Beamer he was going to be his guy, and Beamer's looking around. And he's like, "Man, I've got to hire somebody." And he had a relationship with Satterfield from before, so he leaned on that. So, but that didn't exactly work out well.
Yeah, I remember when it happened. Beamer it said something in the press conference or something that Mike Bobo was a no call, no show today for workouts. And I'm like, we're talking about him like he didn't show up for his cashier shift at Food Lion. He said no call, no show.
Oh, but it was also Rocker too, right? Rocker, the defensive coach, and all that. We talk about your offensive coordinator that you have now. Did what he was supposed to do with people and all of that. How those two still have a job somewhere just baffles me. How Mike Bobo has a job, I don't get. I don't get it all. I mean, we talked about the whole thing before in the past where, you have Todd Gurley. You don't give him the ball first and goal on the 4. He doesn't touch the ball one time. Probably the best running back since Herschel fucking Walker. And we're not going to give him the ball on first and goal from the 4 because we have to pretend that we're smarter than everybody else. Then Bobo goes to Colorado State, runs them into the shitter. And when he leaves the program, there's talk of behind the scenes shit was bad up there. And, he took the job with coming down to South Carolina almost as like, thank God I don't have to come back to this shithole.
Well, it's just like with that Kevin Steele guy, the one that one Dabo fired for giving up 1 million points to West Virginia and multiple other teams, and then helped run Auburn into the ground. Right. And then Nick Saban hires him at Bama, a team that's known for defense.
I don't get that, but it baffles me with some of these guys. And you would think some of these coaches would want to take a risk on somebody. Why not go and get somebody that is a young up and coming prodigy, whatever. I mean, I'd rather have a nerd. I say a nerd, but I'm just saying a guy that looks at the game from a numbers perspective than I'm Mike Bobo. I've fucked over 4 or 5 I mean, seriously, I'd rather have a young nerd that's a fucking MIT scholar over Mike Bobo. He'll probably excel at Georgia to a point, but there may be there's going to become a time where that Bobo hire, if they lose one game, I bet they blame Bobo first. He'll be the first one that they go after.
Oh, definitely. So, that's coming.
Anyway, who would they bitch out first, Bobo or Muschamp? It's going to be one or the other. I'm going to go with Bobo because he's just terrible. At least Muschamp's been a good coordinator.
Yeah, I see. I see the offense. They're screwing the pooch and screwing up before I see the defense doing it. Just too much talent over on that side of the ball.
All right, well, I'm going to put the link out here one more time before we get out of here, Jackpot. There's the link. I'm going to talk about these per Thomas with the callback. Jackpot, don't pee in the sink.
I'm not going to pee it in the sink. I'm getting some salt in my mouth.
Are you a salty bitch?
I got a cramp in the back of my leg. I had to get up and walk around a little bit. If you get a little bit of salt in you, it'll stop it.
All right.
You know what else will stop a cramp that I don't have any of? Much my dad, Lord rest his soul, taught me. I was rubbing alcohol. He used to get a cramp real bad at night. He would splash it. I remember him getting up in the middle of the night. Oh! And he running down the hallway. He had this gigantic, like 32-ounce bottle of rubbing alcohol that he got from Kmart. And he'd be dumping it into his hand. It'd be all shaking and shit and splashing it on the back of his thigh and just rubbing it in. And instant relief.
Yeah.
So when I had one, I tried it. I put it on my calf, and damn if it didn't work.
Harry Brock says, Harry Leg, I never said South Carolina would beat Georgia, but I'm not going to act like Georgia couldn't lose a game next season. You know, Georgia could go 12-0 with the way their schedule is set up. Because even the most ardent Georgia fan is going to look at it from the perspective of, man, that schedule just really, it just lines up where they don't, they're
you
tough
just got to
games.
look at it and say, do you think this year's team is better than last year's team? And you got to say, is there a chance that we could pull a Mizzou again this year? And if so, maybe it don't go your way.
Or could you say, if you're making an argument against Georgia here, they lost a ton of guys that went to the NFL. They also have a new offensive coordinator, and old Stetson Bennett's not your quarterback anymore. You can make an argument, hey, this guy, he's 5'6" tall, and he's played his way onto an NFL roster as of right now. Won 2 national titles. He's not going to be there anymore. You got a guy that is a third-year player that has 370 yards total passing. That's your quarterback now. With an offensive coordinator that is
from what I understand, they're telling me he's going to be in New York. He'll be in New York in December.
Yeah, but your offensive coordinator has a track record of being a cunt. That's the truth.
Oh, yeah, definitely of being less than.
South Carolina, Auburn, Colorado State. He just hasn't had it. So there's all of that, But then again, with the talent that Georgia has, they could go 12-0. Wouldn't be surprised either way. But with what Brock's saying, just to sit here, and this is what Kirby Smart will probably tell them too. Last year's schedule and what you did last year, the championship shine of that, will have ring night where you get your ring. But none of that means a fuck this year. You got to go out and earn every damn win. You got to treat Mizzou like they could come into your house and beat you, even if on paper they don't have a chance in hell. That's why Kirby Smart gets paid the big bucks. He has to sell that to those young men after he makes sure they don't rape anybody.
Oh, Lord. I know he didn't just say that.
I did. Look at Ziggy. Ziggy, what's up, Ziggy?
He's chilling. I think this boy's asleep.
Daddy-O with the great line. Bobo wipes before he shits. All right, we got somebody who wants to join us. His name is.
Why on earth would you do that?
Drewski, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hello.
What y'all's what do y'all think that Georgia's going to go this year?
I mean, they could go 12-0. They could go, I don't know. They could go 11-1.
Well, that's 11-1. I think they're losing to somebody.
What do y'all think Clemson's schedule is going to be?
Oh, Clemson has one game on the schedule that I think is going to be tough, and that's the Notre Dame game. The rest of the games, I think Clemson will win by double digits.
I think Clemson's probably going 9-3. I think they'll drop the opener.
Are
Drop
you
the
fucking
opening.
serious? Hold on.
Yes, I
No,
am.
no,
You know, I've looked at it. I've looked it over.
Out
And
of here.
I went.
Okay,
I went
what about South Carolina?
I'm not ready to put a prediction out on them yet. You have to watch my official South Carolina season preview breakdown and prediction video on them. But Rob may have one.
Prediction?
What for South Carolina? I think they're going to go 7-5, and I'm not going to sit here and just let Jackpot run his mouth and say, "Oh, Clemson's going to lose to Duke." You and the comrade sitting around scissoring each other, thinking that Duke has a shot in hell in that game. That is a double-digit win for Clemson at the start of the season. If I'm playing fucking quarterback, they win by 2 touchdowns.
They
don't have-
return an experienced quarterback on a team that won the Military Bowl last year. It's a home opener. They're going to have more fans there than what they normally do. It's a big game for Duke. And every time they've beaten Clemson 4 times since 1989. All of them have been in Durham. So yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Okay, well, under that logic, I think that Vanderbilt can beat South Carolina because they're a team that came in and they beat Florida last year. So why?
Well, they could. They definitely could. They got to beat us sometime.
And Jacksonville State, they could come in and battle of the Gamecocks, and then just because
Really,
they want
to, Rich Rod might have something up his sleeve.
Who else? Let's see here. Who else? Mississippi State, they could come in. They could score 70 on South Carolina. Why not?
Sorry, losing to Mississippi State at home is not as embarrassing as losing to Duke, which y'all could have. I could see it, but
Clemson is not losing to Duke.
Don't get so mad about it. Just your opinion.
Stop it.
I'm
trying to save the program from you saying silly things in freaking June. You're going to regret that damn thing at the Labor Day weekend. That's going to happen.
Hey, Rob.
You're going to regret it when y'all lose to Duke.
We're not losing to Duke. Drewski, what you got? What else you got, man?
What do you think about Kirby Smart at this point in his career?
Hey, he's won 2 national titles, and I don't argue with hardware. So there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
2 national titles. I don't think that I'm not like the Tennessee folks that think that some Tennessee guy said something on Twitter today that the culture at Georgia is equivalent to the culture that Baylor had. And you know what? I don't think that that's true. I don't think it's like Art Briles where it's, you're assigned someone to sexually assault when you get there. That's pretty much what the culture was at Baylor at one point. I don't think that Kirby Smart's doing the same thing. So there you go. There's something nice said about Kirby Smart.
Yeah, no,
that was a nice thing to say, Rob.
No, I'm serious. I just don't think
it's hard to get you to say something nice. So
no, look, I'm not going to argue about the hardware portion of it because he's done some great stuff there, but I don't think that he's just sitting around thinking, hey, we're going to get these people that have issues with that. I don't think he's doing that.
What do you think about you think Kate Klubnik's going to do a good job this year?
No, I really don't. And I'll tell you what. I don't think.
Tell me why. I want to know. I want to know, Rob.
Define good job. Because to me, good job is
do a good job at his position.
Well, you can be decent at his position.
Right, but I'm not asking is he going to be decent. Do you think he's
I don't think
good or not?
People talking about he's going to be an all-conference selection next month. And I think that's ridiculous because if you
think he's going to be more of a game manager, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's going to be he's going to be a guy that, he can complete a pass here or there, but in the end, he moves around too much in the pocket, and a lot of times he makes dumb passes where he throws across his body, and I don't know if they're going to be able to coach that out of him, to be honest with you.
He's probably the worst they've had since Kyle Parker.
And until he proves that differently, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's the second coming of whoever. See, that's part of the problem, too. Clemson fans are spoiled because they had great quarterbacks for a long time. And stepping into those shoes is not going to be easy for anybody.
Is he? You think he's a step above the ukulele?
I do, because I think that the ukulele's brain scrambled. I don't think it's hard. I don't think he wants to be a football player anymore.
Oh wow,
So,
that's kind of sad, isn't it?
I mean, can't.
Who,
I mean, can't.
who scrambled
you know,
his brain? Who scrambled his brain?
Well, there's, and Clemson fans will tell you this. The young man apparently had issues, family issues off the field. You know, his parents got divorced. There was all kinds of stuff that was going on off the field. He was never able to fully recover. You could also make
his dad was the male version of Jaheim Bell's mom.
That's a fair statement.
What did Jaheim Bell's mom do?
Bitch on Twitter,
Bitch
run
on-
her mouth.
Oh
about
yeah, the complaining.
all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
What do y'all think about what's his name? JT Daniels playing for Rice.
I laugh about this because the Georgia fans for a while was, what was it? Help me out, Georgia fans.
JT Christ. JT Christ.
Yeah, JT Christ.
Daniels Christ.
And now he's playing for the food.
So let's follow this. JT Daniels, we could sit here and talk about how, you know what, maybe he was a talented guy, and maybe that Kirby Smart didn't really give him the opportunity. But he had the opportunity to go to Mizzou. And you know what? He could, if he was a competitive player, he could have went to Mizzou and thrown the ball around and tried to stick it to Kirby Smart if he had a set. But he's like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to West Virginia where they burn couches. And then he couldn't go up.
West Virginia where players go to die. Career over.
Yeah, now I'm going to go to Rice. I mean, no one even knows where Rice is in Texas. I mean, it's in Texas.
Oh,
but
I didn't even know it was in Texas.
I
didn't know where it was.
It's in Houston.
Texas. Yeah, okay. Well, there you go.
Who knew?
I mean, it's in Texas. So there you go with all that.
And they
All
have
right,
a
man.
rivalry
Hey,
with
I
the
love the
Houston
show.
Cougars, so
Y'all
They never
have a good
play, but that's still a rivalry.
Thank you, Drewski. Appreciate it, man.
All
Be
right,
sure
man.
to
Y'all
stick
take
around
care.
for the season.
Thank you.
R says college football fans pay too much attention to the number of stars beside someone's name. Yes. Well, Jackpot has
Ohio says Cade Publix, future cashier at your local grocery store.
We're
Well,
not.
hey, at least he's going to a good grocery store, you know.
Yeah.
Going to the
Well, there you
cream of the
go.
crop.
All right, Jackpot. You have anything else for this week's show, man? We're going to be back at it on Sunday.
Be back at it on Sunday. I'm just looking forward. Gonna be a good holiday weekend. Weather's supposed to be really nice and hot. So keep yourself hydrated. If you're outside, make sure you come inside as often as you possibly can. Keep your
Drink
pets.
your water and shut your mouth.
Keep your pets hydrated. If you take your pets on a walk, don't make your dog walk on the pavement. Let him walk in the grass. It hurts the bottom of their feet.
Does Ziggy get pissed off with the fireworks, Jackpot?
What's that?
Does Ziggy get pissed with the fireworks?
He doesn't get pissed. He gets very scared. He's a scared doggy with noise. He doesn't like noises. He gets very, very upset when we have thunderstorms. Even when it rains, I mean, he's really uneasy. He shakes pretty bad, and I'll have to kind of hold him like a baby.
I mean, but he's had football seasons with you. He should be used to fucking shit flying.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because you got to think too. He was here. I mean, his first football season with me was the COVID year, and that wasn't a good year.
Well, I mean, I'm sure his therapist said it's a COVID year. You'll be all right.
It's a COVID year. Yeah, no, he's a good boy. He likes watching football games.
I'm sure my wife will be telling me make sure I have the dogs in for the 4th of July fireworks, which, by the way, people will start with that shit. 4th of July is like Tuesday. People start with that shit Friday. They get off work blowing up shit from here to Kingdom Come. Jesus.
Yeah, we
All
got there's a lot of fireworks stands up here in the upstate.
What's your favorite firework?
A lot of them, especially north of here.
Yeah.
But between here and North Carolina, I don't think that I think they're legal in North Carolina.
I think they are. Do you have a favorite firework, Jackpot?
They are legal in North Carolina.
I don't know. I said maybe, but do you have a favorite firework? If you're going to go buy some fireworks, do you have a favorite?
Bottle rockets.
Yeah. We used to have Roman candle wars when I was a kid, and looking back on that, that probably wasn't a fucking good idea.
The Roman the bottle rockets. Bottle rockets are the best. They're crazy. I could tell a story, but I'm not. I got this video saved on Facebook from many years ago. That guy Donnie, is a Gamecock fan. That he goes by Otis on Facebook. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the maker of beverages.
Yeah, he did a video quite a few years ago, probably 7 or 8 years ago. Some guy down there in Lawrence that he knows lost some kind of bet with him on something. I think it's not this guy's name. God, I can't remember. The guy's name was Lenny or something. He's a Gamecock fan. Anyway, Lenny lost a bet, and so he had to let Otis Driftwood shoot a bottle rocket, which Otis Driftwood called a skyrocket. But same difference. Shoot a skyrocket out of this guy's ass. And he bared his naked butt on Facebook and everything. He put the bottle rocket into the crack, and he lit the damn thing. And the first one launched. The second one got stuck. And he barely got it out of his crack before it went off. So he was knocking it out of his crack, and then the damn thing shoots off right between his legs and into the fucking woods. It's damn nuts.
Well, with that, hold on, Jackpot. I mean, this is one of the things that I will share with you. Here we go. This is kind of the same thing.
Wait, more back. Like you gotta get on your back like that. Let me put it in. Put your legs over your head.
What on earth?
Hold his legs like somebody like.
No, I want to see it. I'm not lighting.
Dude, it's asshole. Don't hold your hand. Wait. Make sure it balances first.
That's good.
Point your sack up. There, like that.
It's okay, man. Don't move.
What the? Yeah, this is definitely a flag. Was that a skyrocket?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but
It blew up.
Everything you wish. Site traffic is skyrocketing until
shut up.
this
Try to
happens.
share things and then it does that. All right, there you go. So hey, that's our early gift for you guys over there for the 4th of July.
One more thing. For the weekend, did you know one of the areas I deliver chips in, the Pickens County area? Did you know that Donald Trump is coming to Pickens on Saturday?
Wow, why is that?
There's
I guess campaigning or whatever.
There's a like a 4th of July celebration in downtown Pickens. He wanted to come to South Carolina, and he found out, I guess, that 80% of Pickens County voted for him in 2020. So it's coming to Pickens.
You know, respectfully, Donald Trump doesn't have to come to this state. He's going to win this state if he never steps foot in it. So
He's
there's
Pickens is a town of like I don't know, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people. They're expecting like at least 40,000 people in Pickens, South Carolina on Saturday.
Yeah. What on Saturday? Stay away from Pickens.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll get back at it on Sunday. We may talk about, I don't know what we're going to get into. Well, I want to talk about some barbecue stuff on Sunday. Are you going to cook out on next week, Jackpot, or not?
I'll probably cook some stuff up on my black. Well, it's not a Blackstone. It's a Sam's brand Blackstone.
Yeah, that's still pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
All right.
yeah, I love it.
You guys, appreciate you guys subscribe to the channel. Big Barney Ross with his bourbon reviews, they're up on the Rob and Kale Show page. Go and check those out. It's just really funny stuff about bourbon. So go with all that.
Daddy O says Manscaped not needed. Yeah. Well, if you looked at my body, I should advertise whatever the opposite of Manscaped is.
Why is that?
Sasquatch time. I don't know. I have body hair in places I didn't know that. Yeah, it can be grown, and a lot of it's gray.
All right, so I'm gonna catch shit for this, but I know what Jackpot is saying is true because he did a Facebook video where he's standing in the bathroom in nothing but a fucking towel, bitching something about Clemson one day, and literally we're like, "Put your goddamn clothes on! What the fuck are you doing?" And Jackpot's just standing there, just a towel, and fuck him, and I'm like, "God damn it, Jackpot!" Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, appreciate you guys as always, and thanks for checking us out, subscribing to the channel. We're gonna have a great football season, and we'll see you guys.
Check us out at Hall_Kale on Twitter, at Rob Sounds Good on Twitter. You can also find me at Carolina Jackpot over on TikTok. You don't stop.
The TikTok videos for Jackpot are pretty good. My wife and I, we're gonna do a TikTok video with her with golf. We're gonna work on that.
Okay.
For that. All right. See you guys later on.
See ya.